Okay. Right, so welcome. This Scouts Own was first held at Gilwell Park, UK Scouting Headquarters at 10 AM on Sunday the 5th of September 2021, when a commemorative plaque to Scouts Ma and Mooney was officially unveiled. I'm going to pass round a replica of the commemorative plaque. Pass that round. The intention is to pass it on and share and hold the Scouts Own with our fellow Scouts around the world all along the original route of the Quest's 1921 to 1922 voyage, exactly 100 years after Quest arrived at each location. This will include the Antarctic Peninsula, using a facsimile of the commemorative plaque. After returning from Antarctica, the ReQuest 2021 team plan to hold a final reunion at Fordle Firs Scottish Scouting Headquarters, where a replica plaque will also be installed. Okay, over to number one. So there we go. So if you read to camera, that's fine.
The commemorative plaques. The inscription on the plaque reads as follows: Remember James Williams Lessamar, 1902 to 1965, and Norman Erland Mooney, 1905 to 1945, who took part in the 1921 Shackleton's Quest expedition. We should note that the official expedition name was the Shackleton Rowett Expedition. However, like many of the expeditions of the heroic age, it was also often referred to by the expedition's ships, in this case, Quest. The larger commemorative plaque was unveiled on the 5th of September 2021, marking the ReQuest 2021 expedition to Antarctica, 100 years after two scouts sailed on Sir Ernest Shackleton's final voyage of exploration. The plaque was designed by stonemason Mark Brooks from Canterbury in Kent. The smaller replica plaque will be installed at Fordle Firs Scout HQ Scotland by the ReQuest 2021 team in 2022.
Thank you so much. I know I put you all on the spot, I really appreciate it. Who's got number two? You're up, Alice. There we go. Yeah.
About there?
Yeah, anywhere to camera, so as long as you've got the C behind you. Oh yeah, it's got the district commissioner behind you.
The Shackleton Rowett expedition of 1921-22 was financed by Shackleton's friend, the businessman and philanthropist John Fuller Rowett. They had met during their school days at Dulwich College, London. In September 1921, the expedition sailed on the ship Quest, with plans to survey the islands and navigation routes of the Southern Oceans. On 5th of January 1922, upon arrival at the island of South Georgia, Sir Ernest Shackleton, who was in ill health, died on board the Quest.
You're up.
The Boss as I Knew Him. An extract from the book of Quest 1929, The Boss as I Knew Him, by Dr. Leonard Hussey, a member of Shackleton's last two expeditions. To have known Sir Ernest Shackleton was a privilege, but to have worked with him, shared his hardship and his adventures, and to have secured his friendship was a privilege accorded to few. I count myself very fortunate that I was one of those few. He had a great admiration for the Boy Scout movement, so much so he took two scouts, Ma and Mooney, with us on our last expedition, the Quest. Sir Ernest Shackleton was one of the greatest Englishmen that the world has ever seen, and we lost our best friend when he went. He is still very near to us, and is carrying on in his ideals and his tradition. We feel that he is attaining true immortality, and that as long as an Englishman and English boys can appreciate a true man, Shackleton's name will be held up as an example of an ideal. he would desire no fitter epitaph than to have played the game.
Thank you. What you got, DC?
John.
Not a problem. Scouts Mara Mooney. The Shackleton expedition was the first polar expedition to involve Scouts. Following nationwide recruitment, Scouts Norman Mooney and James Martin were selected to join the crew of the quest. Mooney from Auckland was badly affected by seasickness and returned home from the Madeira a few weeks into the voyage. Upon his return to Auckland in 1921, Mooney registered as a student engineer at the Royal College of Science and Technology in Glasgow. After graduation, he took on a role as a land surveyor based in Southampton. In 1929, Mooney passed the colonial survey examination and he was employed by the colonial office as a land surveyor in Nigeria, mapping previously uncharted areas. On the 20th of November 1945, at the age of 40, he was tragically killed when an accident occurred whilst he was at the survey. James Mark from Aberdeen went on to become a marine biologist who would explore in his own right, publishing seminal work on the natural history of the Antarctica. In 1943, Marr was selected to lead the covert mission called Operation Tiberium. Tiberium was the predecessor of the Falkland Islands Dependency Survey, which later became the British Antarctic Survey. In 1954, Barbican were only 18 men to receive both the bronze and silver gold medals. In 1965, he was the acting president of the Antarctica. Marr died at the age of 62. Emphysema, bronchopneumonia. On the 29th of April 1965, at Milford Chest Hospital, Busbridge, Surrey, after a prolonged period of illness. I should have warned you about the emphysema and bronchopneumonia. They're there somewhere. That catches everyone out. Number 5, thank you, Rosie.
The Kent Scouts Request 2021 Antarctic Research Project marks the centenary of the Shackleton expedition. A team of 10 scouts from Kent and Scotland explored the waters and islands of the Antarctic during January 2022. In keeping with the spirit of the original expedition, Request 2021 is carrying out research projects with themes of peace, heritage and environment, and aims to leave a lasting legacy to inspire young people to explore the world around them. The project itself has 10 objectives shown on the back of these cards. The first is Voyage. Participate as members of the crew on the bark Europa on a voyage to Antarctica. Second is Projects. Undertake the personal projects with each team member presenting their results. The third is Centenary. To hold the centenary flag ceremonies in both the UK and Antarctica. Fourth is Plaques. Unveil commemorative plaques to Scouts, Marr and Mooney in England and Scotland. The fifth is Outreach. Involve young people in a series of fun and educational outreach activities. The sixth is Thames. Host a pre-expedition PR event at Tower Bridge on Friday the 17th of September 2021. The seventh is Plymouth. Participate in the Devon and Cornwall Polar Society Centenary event in Plymouth. The eighth is Shackleton. Celebrate and pay respects to the achievements of Sir Ernest Shackleton. The nine is Links. Build strong links with Scouts in other countries on the original expedition route. And legacy is to leave a lasting Scouting polar research legacy inspired by Scout Marr's work on the road.
The project can be summed up as 10 to the power of 3. 10 scouting ambassadors, 8 from Kent and 2 from Scotland, sailing on a tour ship to Antarctica. 100 years after the original Shackleton West expedition back in 1921. Thousands of young people engaged and educated about the 3 key lessons of peace, environment and heritage to be learned from this amazing, fragile, frozen southern continent.
Okay. So number 7, Shackleton's last diary entries. Ernest Shackleton died of heart failure in the early hours of the morning of the 5th of January 1922. These last diary entries recall his thoughts as the ship approached South Georgia. The 1st of January 1922. Rest and calm after the storm. The year has been kindly for us. It's curious how a certain date becomes a milestone in one's life. Christmas Day, in the raging gale, seemed out of place. I dared not venture to hope that today would be as it was. Anxiety has been probing deeply into me, for until the end of the year, things have gone awry. Engines were liable, furnace was cracked, water was short, we had heavy gales, all that physically could go wrong, but the spirit of all on board was sound and good. There are 2 points in the adventure of a diver. 1, when a beggar, he plunges, he prepares to plunge. 1, when a prince, he rises with his pearl. 2nd of January 1922. Another wonderful day. A fine clear sight, headwind, but cheerful for us after these last days of stress and strain. At 1 p.m. we passed our first berg.
Hello.
The old familiar sight aroused in me memories that the strenuous years have deadened. Blue caverns shone with sky glow snatched from heaven itself. Green spurs showed beneath the water. And bergs mast high came sailing by as green as emeralds. Ah me, the years that have gone since the pride of young manhood, I first went forth to the fight. I grow old and tired, but must always lead on. 3rd of January 1922, another beautiful day. Fortune seems to attend us this year, but so anxious have I been when things are going well. I wonder what in time difficulty will spring upon me. All day long, a light wind and clear sky was our happy position. I find a difficulty in settling down to write. I'm so much on the QV. I pray that the furnace will hold out. Thankful that I can be crossed and thoughted as a man. 4th of January 1922. At last, after 16 days of turmoil and anxiety, on a peaceful sunshiny day, we came to our anchor at Barbican. How familiar the coast seems as we passed down. We saw with full interest the places we struggled over the boat journey. Now we must speed all we can, but the prospect is not too bright for labour is scarce. The old smell of dead whale permeates everything. It's a strange and curious place. A wonderful evening. In the darkening twilight, I saw a lone star hover gem-like above the bay. And those were the last words he wrote. That's number 7. Oh, I've got to do 8 as well. No, we didn't get volunteer for 8. So. Sorry, you'll have to put up with me one more time. So, this poem's called Following On, and it's also from the Book of the Quest. Following On. Why am I here, a young lad known to fame, refilled his pipe and poked the log fire into flame. Away on the skyline frowned a snow-capped peak. Around him lay the desert, white and bleak. The grey gull's screams were ominous to hear. Why am I here? No answer came. The cold wind moaned, and the boom of cracking ice a sound of dread. In the fire's red glow, his nimble fancy roamed, and winged a hero's motto through his head. Never, never the lost endeavour, never the lowered flag. And it merged with the roar of the waters and the blast from the icy crag. Why am I here? To do such work as he nobly left behind, to tread his trail in storm and freezing wind, to ache, to feel, and also strength of heart, to be like him and bear the harder part, to fight that polar mountain stark and drear. That's why I'm here. We're on number 9, Andy Duncan.
9. Nothing is impossible. Baden-Powell's introduction in the Book of the Quest. Nothing is impossible if we set our minds to it. 21 years ago, there were 25 scouts in the world. If anyone had said, well, go on and raise 2 million of them, distributed in every country over the globe, one would have said, no thank you, impossible. But the Jamboree this year will show that the impossible has been attained in a short space of 21 years. In our work with the boys, we can do a lot to link the poorest to the most hopeless out of their slough and give them a hope and aspiration. We can hold up to them the innumerable histories of self-made, successful men to whom in their early days such a future would have seemed impossible. The Scout should be taught to kick the im from the word impossible.
Okay. So we're going to finish our little service with an extract from James Marr's book that he wrote, the Scouts book. I highly recommend it. It's over there if you want to have a look. Extract from Into the Frozen South. So these are the final words of Marr's book. And now I can hardly believe it was all true, yet it was true, gloriously so. I too have seen and known and learnt. I too have companioned with the great souls who helped make our island's history. Sir Ernest Shackleton, Commander Frank Wild, and many others, all great of heart and fearless of soul. They've been my shipmates and my friends. It was a memorable year indeed. For all the time I must carry with me a vision of tumbling waves by day and phosphorescent breakers in the darkness, the grind and bellow of the closing pack, the rush and roar of the broken waters at the growler's feet, the hushed noises of the seals as they come to the surface in the still water of the pack. And always I shall see in my mind's eye the glory of the Antarctic night. And most poignant yet, inspiring all of my memories, there is that lonely cross outlined against a whirling drive of the South Georgian sleet, the sign which remains to tell me of the great spirit that led us forth and died, yet lives again, as a magnet to draw the brave away from the sleek comforts of life into that outer world of daring where men may gaze in awe upon the wonders of the world. Our little Scouts Own. Thank you. I have a present for all of you, so please don't go anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, of course. You can do that. So this is for the district commissioner. So you've got your very own Shackleton the penguin, so if you pass it around the group or something. And,
I think I need an epaulet. He's going to just sit and be
okay, there's your Shackleton the penguin.
Oh, thank you.
And it's up to your DC as to whether it'll allow you to wear it up there or not.
Oh, I think so.
If you type this into the internet, you will find all about our project.